to Wine and Wealth, a show produced exclusively for our clients here at Jazz. Grab a glass of your favorite wine or a tasty scotch and let's get your dough straight. Enjoy the show.
Well, hello and welcome to a really special, interesting, sort of awesome, great, magnificent update that we're going to do here for you. We have something new available for you. We've been working on it for a while. I'll give you a little background here. We constantly are on the look for interesting tools or things that we can offer to you guys, but it has to fit what we're trying to do. And we often find that when we look at the financial advisor space, there's a lot of things that like cater to people with lots of money and like focus on long-term trusts and things. It's like, all right, well, that applies, but not so much to you guys. So we find that we're having to build as much as we can in-house. One of those things happens to be the retirement planner, not nest egg, but a general sense of like, where do I stand? Right? We looked at a ton of them. We looked at white labeling them. We looked at just buying some of them, and they're just not as detailed as we like to be. So we built our own, and that's what I'm here to share with you here today. You will be seeing this rolling out throughout the weekend, so it will be available to you in your accounts. You can use them. We can work together on them. We made it very interactive, and I just want to kind of share with you our version 1 of the retirement plan. So you ready for this? I think you are. We're going to go over a sample here. I'm going to use Charlie as an example. We know it's Charlie because he's got a little icon there. We're working on his retirement plan. Charlie is currently 30 years old. This is just to get things going for you. Don't let all this overwhelm you. I'm going to build a plan right here with you. Over here, this is always going to default to the main plan, but as we build scenarios to compete with the main plan, we'll be able to model them against each other. So that's just a fancy looking way of doing that. All right, so let's do this here. We've got a default retirement age of 65 for Charlie. I'm going to change that. I'm going to say he wants to retire at 62, right? And length of retirement is his life, so we're assuming 62 plus 20 years of retirement. He's going to live to be 82, so that works for him. And let's say since he's 30, he's already saved $30,000. I'm not sure, but you could put in the number that you've already saved. Pre-retirement returns, we can play with any number here. I'll leave it for 7% at the moment. Now we're going to go over to his savings rates. So we wanted to account for everything here, and we're going to even further expand this. We're just trying to come up with some ideas. But let's say his current salary is $100,000. Make it simple there. And he gets a 2% raise. You notice everything is starting to change little by little, right? And we wanted that to be dynamic, so it wasn't like you had to guess all of this stuff and then hit save or something and hope that you got all the numbers right. We wanted you to see every little thing change along the way. So if you punch in a number, you accidentally put like $1 million for retirement, well, you would quickly see like, whoa, look at the graph. What's going on there? So that's why that happens. So we've got 100,000. We got 2% raise. You can put it to whatever it is, however you get raises or if you get raises there. And we're going to say he saves, we'll stay with this. He saves 5% of his salary. I'm going to make it 4 actually because that's more common. 4% of his salary. The employer matches 100% up to 3%. So let's pretend they match up to 4, and that's why he puts the 4% in there. All these fields are editable, so as you click on them, you can adjust them and it'll save. His annual savings here at Jazz, let's say he's just filling up a Roth IRA or something, so I'm going to put it at $6,000 for now. And other annual savings, this could be like your HSA or anything else. So I'm going to just pretend that he's got an HSA and he puts $1,000 in it a year just to get that thing growing. So far, looking really good. He's got a surplus of $2.4 million, but that's because he has no retirement salary yet. Remember, we think of retirement distributions as salary. So he makes 100 now. Let's say he's going to need to live off of 70 from his retirement, but we'll get to the rest here in a second. His retirement returns, a lot of people pick a lower number. We'll put 5.5 there. And we're saying there's probably going to be about 3% inflation. We can change that if you think so. But other retirement income, this is where your pensions would go or Social Security. So we'll say that Charlie, he's going to live on 70 that he wants to take from his retirement. And maybe he's expecting a really low Social Security, $15,000 a year. That income will start, we can start playing with scenarios here to see what's the best age for him to start taking Social Security. So I'm going to say, let's say that he wants to wait. 68 or something, right? And Social Security or that pension or whatever you put there, if it has an increase, you'll put it. The cost of living for Social Security is kind of tough to determine, but we'll say 3%. And then other retirement assets. This is what I always found was missing in all these other plans. So many times you have inherited a property and maybe you sell it. You've inherited a property and you rent it. You have your existing property and you're willing to sell it and downsize, right? So this is where you can start playing with things like this. Other retirement assets. Let's say he has a house that he believes will be worth $500,000. He's got a long way to go, so it's kind of a guess. But he might want to downsize, but he still needs some of that money for buying the property. So it's not like we can put $500,000 here. Let's say that he wants to spend $350 as a down payment on the next place or pay cash for a condo somewhere. So he'll have $150 extra $1,000 that we could count as usable income there. So what's happening? We get to the end. He's got a retirement shortfall of about $188,000. The optimal plan is showing to make it successful. Here's his optimal plan. But down here, this is where he stands. Ooh, he's a little short, right? So his retirement savings over here will last 18.4 years. He's going to need to save more here at Jazz or increase his workplace contribution. That's just a real simple way to go about that. Now, we could play with other things as well, but this allows you guys to play with all of this. And maybe he says, all right, what happens if I take Social Security a year earlier? I might have to. Gosh, okay, that's getting better. $172,000 shortfall. So now I've still got to save more money, or I have to improve my 401k contribution. All right, no problem, no problem. I can work with this. Let's say that he watched our class and he says my average retirement returns can be more because I know that I can be aggressive with the money that I don't need until this part of my plan. I'm not going to go up much. I'm just going to go 6% there, not be ridiculous. But now let's see what we have. He's got 20 years of retirement and we're getting 19.4 years out of it. So if Charlie lives to be 82 years old, oh, he's just going to run out of money there at the end. All right, well, we can increase our 401k. We can increase any savings there if we want to. Or we could start talking about this money here. Is he realistically going to stay in the same house for all those years, right? Do we know, like, can we assign like a 3% growth rate or something? Is it really 500,000? See the questions that we're able to talk about now because of this? The 401k, I hate the answer of saying, oh, just change this number here. Make sure this is 5% now or something, right? So now we knew we had to increase it there. So now we've got the ability to pretty much make this happen. We got a little bit of a surplus here. We have 20.8 years, and you said you weren't going to live that long. That's fine. We can actually back it down a little bit if you like, but all right. So there you go. You're going to make it. I don't like that answer as a default. I like to look at everything else first, right? So maybe he went low on his expected salary there, and he's going to maybe get like a 3% raise or something every now and then, and we can come back and say, I'm going to save 4% of my 401k. All right, now we're getting close. It's tight, right? But we're getting close there. So I love that stuff. The whole point of all of this is to say, okay, we know we're somewhere in the ballpark. We have a surplus. It's not great, but we need to start thinking more frugally about some of the things that we do. We may want to start saying, how do we factor in the actual Social Security benefits? Can we get a little tighter on that? But this gets the ball rolling. I love this because it's not a complete it all and it's perfect. It's a complete it all and, oh my gosh, I think I have questions. I think there's something we need to work on. I don't like the way I only have a $70,000 surplus here. I see how I'm running out of money compared to the optimum plan, and I'm not comfortable with that, right? So I really, really like this here. Now, what I can do over here is I can say, hey, Charlie, we need to talk about your Social Security. We need to talk about your house. We need to talk about maybe your the amount already saved, so current savings, right? Because how is it that it's exactly $30,000? I got an issue with that. It's probably a round number. So I can leave notes and go, hey, I want to schedule a call. I want to talk with you. Let's go over some of this. Charlie can actually go in here and say, all right, I have some questions. I put in some of this, but I'm not entirely sure what just happened. I'm not sure that these are the numbers. I need to get back to you. I might need to report back on my Social Security estimate. I don't know about the property. Let me talk with my spouse about it and see if we're really going to live here the rest of our lives. I don't know if she has how much is in her 401k, so I didn't put that number in there. You see the kind of the communication we have there? So all in all, he can retire in 32 years, that'll be 2054. $70,000 a year needs to come out of his retirement plans, and he will just be able to make this happen. We don't like that it's so close. We'd, of course, like to see it more, but technically he's on the right track. He knows how much he needs to save. He knows that he's saving enough to his 401k. We don't want to bounce it down. See how it says he could go down to 3.8? We don't want that because he's getting the 4% match. So he could bounce down his savings here at Jazz and say, I'm going to go for 55.42, right? And now we're dialed in. Now we're at $17, right, in the future. So he knows he can save a little bit less here. If we find out you got some debts or something, we can adjust that. If this number goes down, of course, we can change it. But I love how dynamic this is. And so I wanted to just do a quick video, right, as sort of an announcement in a way to let you know that you can go and start playing with it. One other thing before I go. Let's say he's happy with this right now, and he wants to make a new plan. We're going to have the ability for you to name this here soon, but let's say the new scenario number 1, which is, see how it stayed up there? So now we know we're working on this, is that he decided that they're going to keep the house, or they're going to, let's say better yet, he's going to sell it, and because they expect to inherit their parents' house or something. So let's just say it's wild, right? He's going to actually get to sell his house, and it won't be paid off, but let's say he gets like $342,000 or $45,300. That's after all of it. He figures that out. So now we can compare the optimal plan, which is basically what we dialed in there, to the current plan. And we can kind of see the difference there between what's happening. What is he able to do? We can go back to the main plan and make adjustments there, and all of that's launching right now, just so you know what we can actually make happen there. So very, very cool. A lot of little things to add to it. And of course, we're going to watch how you guys use it and see what can we do better and what can we fill up, what data's missing, how can we improve it. And maybe there's some big things that are actually coming along with that. But go in there, have a good time with it. If you don't see it right now, it is going to be rolling out over the weekend. We can't actually push it out all at once. And so just keep an eye out for that. It'll be in your menu over there in the dojo. And I hope you enjoy it, man. Let's see. What are you coming up with? Let me know. Let me see what's going on out there. And you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. See you.
Well, all right. Well, thanks for stopping by the Funk Neighborhood today. Yeah. Hope y'all enjoyed yourselves. I certainly had a good time. But I need to play some more horn.